What's going on, everyone? Alex Gervase here, Gervase Outdoors, and today we have a how to make your own jigs video. Whether you want to buy your own jigs and then customize it a little bit to get that perfect color you want, or if you want to just go ahead and grab the shaky head or whatever weight you want to use and completely make your own jig, we are going to teach you guys how to do it today. So let's jump right into it at Gervase Outdoors. Okay guys, we're going to go over all the materials that you guys are going to need. Everything here is going to be linked down below in the description, so if you guys are looking to purchase some or look at what they are, you guys can go ahead down there in the description and find it. So starting off, you obviously are going to need your skirts, all your colored skirts, and these come in a multiple range of colors, so whatever you guys find that you guys want to put on your jigs, you guys can go ahead and grab those. You're gonna need some wire. This is 1/1500 thickness wire, and or some bowstring. Either one will work. Going over to the rubber, you are going to have two different types of rubber. You're gonna have the thick round rubber, and then you're gonna have the thin round rubber. And all it is, one's a little bit thicker than the other one. Going over to the heads, you're gonna have your football, your swimming head, arky head,
bottom bouncer,
and bottom bouncer head. I don't know those two, but there you go. So you got all the different kinds of heads, and then just some tools to have around: some wire cutter, scissors, filer, and then over to some of our jigs that we've actually done. So you can see, some of the orange that you saw over on the left, added some orange, black, added some blue and black, some orange and chartreuse, some reds, purples, and then some blue, and then some blue and black flakes in there as well.
what I'm doing is I'm taking the head and I'm putting the hook down inside this weed guard. You can move that out of the way when you need to. So I lay my rubber up on top, and I take it and I run it at least an inch to inch and a quarter over the top of the head, and then I'll take another one. Now some guys just use one and that makes it real thin, but I like to go a little thicker. So, and what I do is I'll add my coloring. If I'm going to do some color, blue, black, purple, red, I'll take and I'll lay that up on top, and then I'll take and I'll pick a little bit more and throw it over the top of it, and it keeps it from moving. Then I'll take my wire, and if you use a wire or the string, either one's going to work just fine, and I'll run it and I'll get it back in where it needs to be. And a lot of guys will just run this over the top like this once or twice, and what that does, it just kind of helps you keep everything intact for when you go ahead and pinch it down. All right, so see how it got around the weed guard? You just got to get it off the weed guard, and then when you cinch it down, this is where the rubber really matters. I mean, when you cinch it down, you want to cinch it down to where this rubber flexes. So I'm cinching it down, and you can see how it really starts to flex. And then I'll take an overloop and then I'll spin it, and that just keeps it from going anywhere. And then you can use the pliers, or you can use your hand. I use my hand and just twist it 3 times. Then I'll take the wire cutters, snip it off, take a pliers.
And that is pretty close to the end. If you can't really see that, it's after he's done the 3 loops. It is fairly close. Try to keep it nice and clean.
And then you can just tuck it over and smash it down with your hand. It's real simple.
Let's see if we can get in there nice and close for you guys. It's gonna be a little bit off, but let's see if we can get in here for you guys. So I don't know if that
all right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're sizing it up to what the length you're going to want. So you're going to split these off a little bit, and then you're going to pull on it just a little bit and then start cutting. And what that does is it allows the rubber to come apart so that it's in separate pieces. Right now it's in one piece. As soon as I go ahead and I start cutting, it starts flaring out. And that's from the wire pushing down on the rubber. And a lot of times I'll take and I'll turn it this direction so that everything falls in two different directions. And then if you want, you can make some shorter. So as long as you cover the head, that's the whole key about doing a jig. You can do it long and have it real long, or you can do it real short and just cover the head. And now on the back side, you've got your hook. All right, your hook ends here. You want that rubber to come back a little ways. Now, in same way with all your flashaboo, you take your flashaboo, and if you want to shorten your flashaboo, you can shorten it up by cutting a little bit off right now, or you can cut it later. Either way. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck this and just go with it. This one here is going to be shorter, and it's going to definitely get right up next to the hook, and that just keeps the hook covered. And then after you cut it, you can pull on it. Now, like right now, it's real long, but you can grab this and squeeze and pull on the rubber, and it'll separate. Now, this is living rubber, so when it gets in water and you separate it like this, it'll literally bounce around and act like it's alive. It'll, see how you just barely move it and you can just see everything move? All the round rubber starts moving. So you want to make sure you get most of those taken off to where they're singles. And this way it really works really good. Now, I elongated this. Now I can shorten it. All you got to do is just come back here, go about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch past the hook. Cut it down. And then you've got yourself a jig that literally looks like a crawdad. And then if you got, you know, too much color on it and you want to take a little color off, just slice it down, get it down in order where it's inside the body of the jig. Now this is straight brown with purple, and I'll do blue and black. I'll do purple with the brown. I'll do red inside this, because sometimes they want red, sometimes they just want green. So, you know, there's different flashaboos to put in here to make your color. And then if you have a problem where it's one-sided, you can just turn it. You can turn the rubber and get the purple to go to both sides. It's real simple. And all you're doing is just covering this head, making sure that head's covered. Alright guys, we're moving over to the swim jig now. And I'm just going to do a black and blue. The jig head's blue with the black weed guard. And basically I'm just going to run the bow string through it, cross it over, leave it up high, take and run all my rubber and my blue flash of blue through it, and then make a couple of loops so that you got some way to cinch it down.
I'm gonna help him out a little bit just for video's sake. Let's see if I can get a good angle for you guys. Here you go. So essentially he's just you know, just like you're tying a shoe, and then cinching it down. Just make sure you get underneath that weed guard.
When I get done with the swim jig, then I'm going to turn around and put a trailer on it. And this way I'm going to leave the rubber a little longer than normal. And when I squeeze that down, it pinches that rubber and makes it stand out a little bit. Using a wire is a little bit easier, but this bowstring is free. You know, guys that are bow hunters, you use your bowstring and then you throw it away. Well, you don't have to throw it away.
Again, you know, just a little tag right on the end just to make sure it doesn't come undone.
Yeah, and this stuff's not going to show when you got all your rubber pulled up. You're not going to see any of that. We're going to go elongated on some of it and shorter on others.
And really make sure when you're pulling that rubber out as you're cutting, cut slowly and just keep extending that rubber out as you're cutting. It really allows the rubber to split.
Okay, let me get on this side.
And as he's doing that, just so you guys can see, there's the head, there's the distance. So looking about to the middle crease of your finger, and maybe even a little longer actually, from the head, yeah, from the head all the way, so one full finger.
You can make it shorter or longer, but if you make it long enough, then you can recut stuff.
Exactly. You always want to have it a little longer. That way you can, you know, once it's all said and done, you can shape it how you like it.
Now, take and pull the rubber around, and basically you got yourself a swim jig. Take and cut some of this blue off. You got a swim jig. A lot of guys will use the swim baits behind it, twin tails behind it, but you can do all kinds of different stuff. Now watch this. I'll take and run a Kitech 3.8 up behind it. Make sure you come out the center, come out, and you've got yourself a swim jig. Pull that rubber around, get it to where it's all around it. You can pull it around. You got all kinds of room to move it. It will move, but it won't come off. So, and then you can shorten that up, or you can leave it longer. I like leaving it long. And this living rubber really moves when it gets in the water. So on the bottom side is where you want most of your rubber to be, because when you're swimming it, it's swimming down here, and the fish is going to be seeing this part and this part. He's not going to be seeing too much of this. Now the other part I like to do is I take and here's the barb, here's your weed guard. You pull your weed guard up, you pretty much go a half an inch to a quarter inch over the top. Make your angle cut so that, see how the back side goes towards the hook? Now you take and you open this up, and now it looks part of the jig. Don't leave that weed guard all in one piece. They can see that. So now you've got, everything looks like it's part of the jig. So just make sure that's above the actual barb, so that when you're running into stuff, it goes like this, it runs and goes over the top, and then you keep from getting your hook. So
alright guys, we're all said and done. Hopefully now you know how to make your own jigs and customize your own jigs. I appreciate you guys watching. Anything that you guys would like to buy or to see what we're using will be in the link down below in the description, and we'll tag all of the stuff that we have been using in this video. Before we go, a lot of guys, you know, they might tell you what they're using in a tournament. Most of the time they won't, and if they do, you know, it's half-truths. This is a, you know, definitely a world that is full of half-truths, especially in the competitive fishing environment. And this is the kind of stuff that is, you know, the other side of that half-truth, right? This is what the people don't tell you about. They tell you, oh, we're using a jig, or oh, we're using this bait, but they don't tell you, you know, how they're modifying specific baits to get that bigger bite or to get a more consistent bite. And I promise you, this is what's going on. You know, you see in the professional league, you know, a lot of the top guys are all using the same exact baits, but there's little nuances, right? People adding a little bit of color, adding scent, different line. It all matters at the end of the day, especially when you're going for that first place. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys learned a lot. We will be back very soon. Appreciate it, guys. Take it easy. GervaseOutdoors. Before we leave, one real quick announcement. Sorry for not putting out any fishing videos. It is windy as all can be. 30, 40 mile an hour winds here, let alone the lakes. A little bit too dangerous for us. That's why we're doing some of these videos for you guys, to keep some content coming out for you guys. But we will be back as soon as this wind dies down. I'll be out on either Tulloch or Pedro, and we'll get some fishing in for you guys. All right, appreciate it. Bye.